What up, peeps? It's your super sketch artist Antonio back, and it is time to run it back. I haven't done one of these for a while because I've been all over the place. So, shout out to everyone that I talked to at Worlds these past few weeks or 2 weeks ago, and that was asking me about this exact thing. I've been meaning to do it for a long time, but life was lifing. But I'm back. So, but shout out to especially my homeboy Rory. He specifically asked me about it right before I got on the plane. So, um, I'm back to doing it, and let's run it back. If you haven't watched any of these videos, this is where I take a character that I loved back in the day and I just want to see a different version of. This could have been somebody that just missed the mark or somebody that came fumbling out from the start. And this is one of those characters that is the latter, unfortunately. And that figure is none other than Monsieur Red Tornado. He is from the Teen Titan set. He is a super rare. This is right off of the cover for one of my favorite comic book artists, Michael Turner. Rest in peace to him. But this is Red Tornado, and I absolutely love this sculpt. I do not love this dial. Now, originally he has the Justice League team ability. He has Justice League, Young Justice, and Robot. Um, Keyword, and he comes in at a whopping 143 points. Why the 43 instead of 40 or 45? Me no, but that was the point formula back in the day. He is a he's a card that came out. The Teen Titans set was a set that came out before the new cards that actually had the dials on it. So yeah, that's why you probably you haven't seen him in silver for a bunch of reasons, and we're about to go over that. So he had a trait and a special power. The trait was Unchecked Winds. When Red Tornado has no action tokens, opposing characters more than 6 squares away can't draw a line of fire to him. And he has an attack power that says Red Tornado can use telekinesis. When he does, lines of fire between Red Tornado A and B are only blocked by walls and indoor blocking terrain. Now, again, this is old wording on a whole bunch of stuff. Even the you can't be targeted within 6 or fewer squares, that had been changed with a whole bunch of characters like your onslaughts and your bishops and stuff to make it a little bit closer. They did it within 5, but now if I was going to just keep that exact trait, it would have to be within 4, because now the maps are shorter. So a lot of figures are just close combat pieces. So let's run it back with good old Mr. Red Tornado. First things first, he definitely will keep the Justice League team ability just because he is a Justice League member, especially this version of him. He was on the Justice League. Ed Benez was drawing the book at the time, but again, this was a cool storyline, and Michael Turner was doing the artwork on the covers mainly. So first off, I would give him another trait. With just like with legacy cards, when I try to run these back, I don't change any of the stats. I don't change any of the length of the dial or anything like that. I work with exactly what we have. So I try to treat it like if it was going to get a legacy card. So first things first, I would make a trait for him called Gale Force Winds in the palm of my hand, and it would give him knockback. It would give him willpower, because he is a knockback, because I think every time that Red Tornado hits you, whether it's close or range, it should be knocking you back, because he is a walking tornado. He should always have willpower because he is a robot. I think all robots should have access to willpower. They are not humans. They can go. I actually think all robots should have a certain level of stats that they actually get. I would have been okay if he would have had maybe 10-3 his whole dial. But robots that get a little bit weaker, like I look at it as the sense of even a broken Terminator. Like I think of the Terminator movies, and a broken Terminator is still going to be strong even if it has one arm. Even if it's a little bit damaged, it still can deal damage, big damage to you. even if it's busted up, because it's a robot and it doesn't understand pain. It only understands, I'm gonna go and do what I need to do. Now, Red Tornado is not just a regular robot, but I think he needs willpower. And I would give him also ESD. It should be, instead of making it that you can't see him, it should just be hard to hit him. And I enjoy that way more. Especially since, again, the game is very much close combat oriented. So if you do try to shoot him, it should just be hard to shoot him. With that being the case, I would change his unchecked wins trait. I would get rid of that altogether. All the wording of that, all the you can't target him, blah, 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 none of that. Because even that, if he has no action tokens, he didn't have willpower. He didn't in leadership that I don't think there was any leadership that was going to be able to work with him and team up with him on a team that would be able to take an action token off of him. So cut that right up out of off of his dial. I would say Red Tornado. So I would keep the name Unchecked Wins. Red Tornado and adjacent friendly characters can't be targeted by characters 4 or more squares away. So again, what that does is it makes it so that characters have to be right next to him. Yes, this would be very powerful in certain situations. At the same time, it makes it so now you have to just get close, if you just want to shoot anyway. So next up, I would take his destructive cyclones attack power, and I would change it to telekinesis and pulse wave, or telekinesis period / and then pulse wave. When he uses Pulse Wave after resolutions, he may place all hit characters in a square within 4 squares of himself. So essentially him putting out the wind, but being able to, once you're hit with it, he can replace you. And that, again, is all hit characters, not just opposing characters, but hit characters, because then it can be offensive and defensive as well. You might want to get somebody that is next to somebody else. You might want to get them away from that person so that they might be able to charge, run a shot, break away, just do whatever they need to afterwards. And they might need to, instead of them possibly rolling against plasticity or just roll off anyway, you can pulse wave, knock folk around, knock folk away first off. But then after you do that, after you knock them away and possibly deal maybe another damage thanks to knockback damage, then bring them back. I almost made it so that one of the characters that's coming out in the upcoming X-Men 97 set that deals knockback damage of 3 when you dealt knockback damage, I almost did that, but I just didn't really want to. I just wanted to make it so that the knockback did something different. So after you knock back somebody, essentially it would be visualizing like them bouncing off the wall, hurting themselves even more, bouncing off against a rock or whatever, and then him still swirling those winds around and placing them somewhere else that, he might want them to be. Now, that, along with the fact that with the Gale Force Winds trait that I gave him, so if he rolls willpower, another thing I would do is I would give him improved movement characters, just characters, so that he can always move. He does have phasing, and I don't like that. So I can't take away that power. I can't take it away, but I think phasing needs to change as a power. I just do not like it. I do not like phasing as a power, especially on someone like him. Phasing with 10 movement is very nice. At the same time, I wish he would have started even with sidestep. Instead of the phasing, I wish they would have given him sidestep, but I don't think sidestep was maybe even around back then. I think, no, maybe it was. Yeah, it was. I wish they would have given him sidestep instead of the phasing. But with that being the case, with him being able to have ignoring characters, when he makes that willpower, not only does he get to keep going, but then he can just move up 2 squares, which in this move instead of place, so that if he needs to, he can carry someone, since he does fly. I like that as well. And his values aren't that great, but that's why I changed it so that he would have pulse wave his whole dial. That way he can, at least on those first 3 and last 2 clicks, he can not only hit, knockback, possibly do some damage, but then reposition for the rest of his team. And with him being able to potentially move every turn in some kind of way, it does mitigate the fact that he doesn't have move and attack for the majority of his dial. I almost gave him hypersonic. I almost made it so that he had willpower and hypersonic, and then when he has no action tokens, it was a big long thing. But instead of giving him something like hypersonic, the premise of Red Tornado, usually when you see him, he kind of is just there and then he does stuff. So I didn't want him to necessarily just be zipping all over the place. Even in live action, when he's there, he just kind of stands there and he just hits you with tornado, which is usually enough to beat most people. So I didn't want him just zipping around. I try to save hypersonic for characters that actually are super fast, agile, and always on the go. And Red Tornado isn't the Flash. He's not just a gust of wind like you would think. He just stands there and hits you with the wind. He's very different. Then even someone like Storm, he's different than that. But with that being the case, the real thing about it is, what should he cost? Now, what I gave him was very powerful. I gave him a way to take tokens off himself. I gave him a way to always be able to move. I made it hard for him and other people to be able to be shot from far. They are trying to bring range back, especially in Lantern Legacy. It's a lot of characters that can shoot now, even at 5 range. Lots of running shots, 6 range, but making it so that you have to be close up within 3 is very big, because that means you're definitely going to get hit in his pulse wave if he decides to use it. He is still outwittable. So, and he has Justice League team ability, which means even on that first click, he's got a 12 attack against the right people, or he would have a 12. He would still have a 12 attack through, or an 11 or 10. No lower than a 10 on most of his dial if you're attacking the right people, thanks to Justice League team ability. So I would actually put him at a clean 75 points. He still only has Impervious top dial, which goes eventually into just a naked regen, so he can be taken out. If you would play him the way that I designed with this new design, he would really just be one of those characters where he gets everybody into position with the TK, but also being able to be a little bit offensive with the outwit. I mean, with the pulse wave, and then just start, hitting people for a little bit. I mean, once he takes a hit of 3, I always say, once you take a hit of 3, meaning somebody deals you 3 damage. Once you deal him 3 damage, even twice, he would be on RCE. So he would be potentially able to move and then hit you with a 11 if you're not JLA with the range combat expert that he has, and then just knock you back into a wall, which could potentially be 4 damage. I love this sculpt, and I many a time when the Justice League Unlimited set came out, I almost took this sculpt off and put it on the red one. But I am hoping upon hope that WizKids somehow does a legacy for this card, or for this character, because this sculpt is just too amazing to just let be this horrible thing that they made for the rest of the time we have HEROCLIX. I think the Teen Titans set gave us a ton of great HEROCLIX pieces, like sculpt wise and dials as well, and a lot of them. If I had a say in what gets made, I would do a bunch from this set. But with that being the case, what say you? What do you think of the redesign that I did? Him being a 75 point TKing, pulse waving, maneuvering, repositioning piece. How do you feel about that Red Tornado? What would you change if you got the chance to run it back with him? Let me know in the comments below. I love to talk HEROCLIX with any and everyone that wants to talk with me. I like answering those comments and seeing them, whether you agree or disagree. And I love hearing what people would do as well. As always, if you have a suggestion for a character that I would run it back with, please let me know, because I will definitely do it. If I haven't gotten into I think I've gotten to all, but yeah, I think I've gotten to all of them almost. If I haven't gotten to it, trust me, it's on a list that I need to run down. Red Tornado was on the list. And the next piece that I think I might run back for sure, because Sulai told me to, was, if not this, Gambit and Rogue, since we have X-Men 97 coming out. It would probably be, maybe it would be, that Wolverine Colossus. I know y'all are probably tired of Colossus at this point, but Wolverine Colossus, or maybe, just maybe, because both of them are in X-Men 97, Jean and Cyclops. Who knows? Who knows? One of these three, or maybe even all three. I might just do a big, since it's X-Men 97 coming out, I might just do a big, running back with all three of those figures, because I really do like, I loved GSX. It was one of my favorite sets of all time. I still today would run back a bunch of those characters, and maybe I'll run back some of those characters that are from that set. I still don't think we got a normal character named Storm that is as powerful as I would like Storm to be, and even the SR from that set isn't as strong as I thought that she was. Either the SR or the common isn't as strong as I thought Storm actually was in that show. She was extremely powerful, and we haven't gotten that version of Storm yet. So with that being the case, as always, it is your super sketch artist, Antonio. Be good to yourself, be good to others, go be super.